And then I'd like to thank someone who you don't know. She's not part of the PKU community, but she was my assistant for 22 years and part of our family. When Tara couldn't be here, we needed somebody to do a lot of work that she would have done. So having retired a few years ago, Mary's out there in Bend, Oregon, kayaking and stuff. And I said, Mary, how'd you like to come to Dallas in the middle of the winter and spend 5 days? Help us out. And she said, I'll do anything. And she would, because on our bike ride, we had a guy that wanted to bike through Virginia with us, but he needed someone to drive his car as an escort. So Mary flew from Oregon and drove his car for a week. So she'll do anything. Mary Stafford. She sort of knew me when I was a pup. Now I'd like to finally introduce the wonderfully creative lady who thought the sentiments and lessons expressed in the song High Hopes was a perfect theme for our inaugural National PKU Conference. She was the first to start planning the conference before Christine Brown came on board. She also started Grand Power, an organization within the Alliance of grandparents who are making a difference in the lives of their children and grandchildren every day. She will tell us a little about Grand Power and then introduce tonight's entertainment, which she also found. So Kathy Pizziali, we can't thank you enough.
She's pretty hot, too.
That was a real relaxer. I want to say hi, y'all. I am so happy to be here in this full room with you tonight. I've gotten to know so many of you virtually, and it's so much fun to see you face to face, who you really are. Particularly that we're gathering together on behalf of something that is so incredibly near and dear to our hearts. When the idea of the National PKU Alliance began to form, Dick Michaud asked me and Sharon Johnstone, president of MACPAD, to work together and figure out a way to harness the energy, time, talents, and experience of grandparents who have grandchildren with PKU. He suggested to me that we call it Gray Power, and I was thrilled with the idea of helping, and I couldn't wait to jump on to do something, but wasn't so sure about the gray part. So, at the end of 2008, we launched an initiative and named it Grand Power. Grand Power was formed on a premise that grandparents are a very rich resource of time, talent, experience, and passion. There's probably not much that we wouldn't do for our grandchildren. We are at a time of our lives when the daily survival of raising children, working and running our homes do not overwhelm our days. Look around you. The proof of grandparent power is right here in this room. Dick Michaud, grandfather of 7-year-old Tia, harnessed his time, his talent, his resources, and his executive power to start the NPKUA. Not to mention jumping on his bike, riding across the United States to fund it. Consequently, here we are tonight. And that's what I call grand power. There are dozens of stories of other wonderful grandparents who have started and worked for regional PKU organizations, PKU fundraisers, foundations, awareness campaigns, committees. They've contributed to research, developed recipes, provided support for others facing the challenges of PKU. Grand Power is a way of creating a focal point for all of those efforts and bringing in grandparents who just want to be a part of things and to be informed. Our first year, Grand Power was about defining it, creating a website, identifying interested grandparents, and connecting them with the NPKUA committees that they were interested in joining. Over 100 grandparents from all over the United States have signed up for GrandPower. Many have sent in stories and suggestions that we are using at this conference. It is so heartening to know that there are loving grandparents in 50 states dedicated to finding ways to support their children and their grandchildren in the management of PKU. 7 years ago, when a word I had never heard of turned into an endeavor of extreme importance, I wish that I had known all those great-grandparents out there. Next year, we want to take GrandPower to a new level. It's time to build our numbers, continue support networking, and start our own fundraising and awareness projects. We have the population and we have the passion. So, here's my 30-second commercial. If you are a grandparent and you or your parents would like to be members of GrandPower, you can find us through the NPKUA website. There's an opportunity to click join on every single page. If you are not part of GrandPower, I invite you to join. And if you are, thank you so much. We have a big year ahead. So the words passion and dedication provide a great segue into my next very wonderful task, to introduce the Dance Institute of Dallas. There is no better way to celebrate the conference, the theme of high hopes, than through music and dance. When we began our search way a long time ago to accomplish this, the Dance Institute of Dallas stepped up. They said that they would be honored to create choreography and a stage dance for the inaugural NPKUA conference. They believe that such volunteer work is part of their mission, and we're very grateful. Under the artistic direction of Norma Shields, who, by the way, does everything from costumes, props, choreography, and staging, 12 very talented and generous young ladies are here to entertain us and to lead us into the next 2 days of sharing our high hopes. So, I would like to welcome and thank Hannah, Shayna, Milan, Alexa, Trinity, Lacey Lynn, Nicole, Stephanie, Lexi, Haley, Natalie, and Nikki. I have seen these fabulous aunts, and you are in for a great treat. Take it away.